on the 19th of October 2017. This is a special report from BR on the World. BR on the World is our international program, and we have had this program around for a few years. It's now joined our WBRN radio family and the Boston Red Network. Nonetheless, the title of this episode is the 19th Party Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. This is their National Congress. It is held approximately one each decade. This is the opening of it, was on the 18th. The speech is given by the Secretary, Prime Minister Xi, and he is reporting to the 19th Congress of the party. This was on Wednesday. We'll highlight some of it. This is from the Xinhua agency in China. A new era with a new thought. Socialism with Chinese characteristics has entered a new era. You'll hear President Xi talk continuously about socialism with Chinese characteristics. As many people know, socialism in a country takes on characteristics of that particular country. There is no quote-unquote universal socialism that was decided a long time ago. The CPC has given shape to the thought on socialism with a Chinese character for a new era, a long-term guide to action that the party must adhere to and develop. Thoughts build on and future enriches of Marxism-Leninism, Mao Zedong Thought, Mr. Deng's theory, and the theory of the three representatives and scientific outlook on development. It represents the latest achievements in adopting Marxism to the Chinese context. Now, this is incidentally, his speech is being translated simultaneously in English, and he is speaking, of course, in Chinese. So we have here, with the exception of my part here, in Chinese and also in English. The the Communist Party of China has drawn a two-stage development plan for the period from 2020 to the middle of the 21st century to develop China into a great modern socialist country. In the first stage, from 220 to 235, the Chinese Communist Party will build on the foundation created by a modestly prosperous society with a future 15 years of hard work to see the socialist modernization is basically realized. In the second stage, that would be from 2035 to the middle of the 21st century, the Chinese Communist Party will build on having basically achieved modernization, hard work for a future 15 years, developed China into a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful. The principal contradiction facing the Chinese society has evolved to that between unbalanced and inadequate development and the people's ever-growing need for a better life. Now the needs to be met for the people to live a better life are increasingly broad. Not only have their material and cultural growth, their demand for democracy, rule of law, fairness, justice, security, better environment are increasing. The economy, the Chinese economy, has been transitioning from a phase of rapid growth to a stage of high-quality development. In developing a modernized economy, the country must focus on the real economy. China will support state capitalism in becoming strong and doing better and growing bigger, turn Chinese enterprises into world world-class, globally competitive firms. China will leverage the fundamental role of consumption in promoting economic growth and improving the framework of regulations underpinned by monetary policy and macro-prudent policy, and see that the interest rates and exchange rates become a more market-based, opening up. China will not close its door to the world and will only become more and more open. China will implement the system and pre-established national treatment plus a negative list across the board. China will significantly ease market access and protect the legitimate rights and interests of foreign investors. Lore. The Chinese Communist Party will set up central leaning groups for advancing law-based governance in all areas. It will strengthen oversight to ensure compliance with the Constitution and advance the constitutionality review and safeguard the authority of the Constitution. Ecological progress. The Chinese Communist Party has incorporated Beautiful China into its two-stage development plan for building a great modern socialist country. The modernization is one characterized by harmony, coexistence between man and nature. China will establish regulatory agencies to manage state-owned natural resource assets and monitor natural ecological systems and develop nature reserves composed mainly of national parks. The armed forces. By 2020, the military mechanization will be basically achieved, with IT applications coming a long way and strategic capabilities seeing a big improvement. The modernization of national defense and the armed forces shall be basically completed by 2035. The People's Army Armed Forces will be transformed into a world-class military by the mid-21st century. Diplomacy. No matter what stage of development it reaches, China will never seek hegemony or engage in expansion. Party building, the last thing here, very important for any party. Having gained overwhelming momentum in its fight against corruption, the party is determined to secure a sweeping victory over the greatest threat to the party. Now, that is the highlights of the General Secretary Xi. And the open preliminary here of the Congress, you will hear it in its entirety. And from the Xinhua agency here, we are dependent upon them. This is, as we said, the 19th Congress here. And we're just looking at it here. Again, the emphasis on the Chinese characteristics of socialism, and 440 senior officials investigated for corruption. That has been ongoing. Socialism is great. The Communist Party of China sets eyes on 2049 and beyond. That's a long time out there. And what we'll do across our channels here, we'll be continually reporting on China in the economic realm, on Numbers Man. That is our macroeconomic program. We will continue to look at China, and also the political program is Boston Red. We will look at China somewhat there. What we shall do, however, though, is work on a division of labor, period, so we can move forward here. And where China is going and the world socialist movement. Now let's go to, this is the National Bureau of Statistics of China. Consumer prices for September 2017. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, went up 1.6% year over year. Prices grew by 1.7% in the cities and 1.4% in rural areas. The food prices went up by 1.4%, and non-food prices increased by 2.4%. The prices of consumer goods went up 0.7%, and the prices of services grew by 3.3%. Now, that is not a bad situation if you compare the second largest economy in the world to the U.S. economy. Basically about the same amount of, in terms of the consumer price index, the amounts are about the same. If you look at it year over year here, and as far as their growth predicted for this year to be basically in line with our predictions, no doubt about that, and we'll see. Let's see. We put this past. Here we go. Let's take a look at this, and this is the national economy sustained the momentum and of stable and sound development in the 3 quarters of 2017. Since the beginning of the year, under the strong leadership of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, with Comrade Xi. At its core, in all regions of developments have thoroughly implemented the new concept of development and adhered to approximately expansion of the arrogant demand and innovation and revigoration of the real economy. Now, this is the numbers here. According to preliminary estimates, the gross domestic product, GDP, of China in the first 3 quarters of the year was 59.38 billion yen. That would be a trillion yen on year over year, and 6.9% at comparable prices, growing at the same speed as the first half of the year, are 0.2% higher than the same period last year. Significantly, the value added of a primary interest industry was 4122.9 billion yen. That's up 3.7% year over year, and that the secondary industry was at 23 trillion here yuan, up by 6.3%. And let's see, 7.8% to Tarrant industry. The GNP for the 3rd quarter of 2007 grew by 6.8%. Now, in the U.S., the idea, at least the administration, is pushing for 3%. Very difficult to maintain here, and you can understand what's going on there. Grain production showed great momentum, and animal husbandry grew stably. Grain output was 144.52 million tons, an increase of 1.31 million tons. That's 0.9%. Industrial, we'll have more of this on numbers, man. The total value added to the industrial enterprises above designated size in the first 3 quarters was at 6.7% on year over year, in real terms, 0.7% of there. So we are moving right along. The service sector increased by 8.3% year over year, or 0.2% higher than in previous times. Investment in fixed assets stabilized with slight slowdown in investment structure was optimized. So this is, we won't go into all this. Investment in real estate development grew stably, and the floor space of commercial buildings for sale continues to decrease. The market sales continue to grow rapidly. Online retailing has showed a strong momentum. That's Mr. Jack Mo and various enterprises of that nature. Anyway, that is the economic pie there. From CNBC, it just says that the Chinese Producer Price Index crashes expectations. It rose 1.6%, matching the forecast. And we already went to the others. We were just looking at some review here from various places. Again, CNBC, 6.8% third quarter GDP meeting expectation. And from the Reuters agency, a little different headline here. Chinese third quarter GDP growth slows as expected. Anyway, this is a little different on it. The Reuters poll itself had looked at 6.9%, a little bit unrealistic there. New construction again at the floor, 6.8%. That is still very good there. Now you have to understand the Chinese government, the Communist Party of China, they have taken steps that the Chinese economy does not overheat, particularly in the real estate sector. So since those things have happened there, and also to get their factories in more of a realistic situation there, 6.6% from a year earlier. Retail sales, I don't think we gave this the last through the Bureau of National Statistics, 10.3% in September. That would be 1/10% above the 10.2 expectations. I wouldn't pay very much attention to that at all. Nonetheless, we will go to now General Secretary Xi of the Communist Party of China. It's about 3.5 hours long for your listening pleasure, and you can return to listen. The reason that we posted in its entirety on the network here is that from Xinhua, many people would not have an opportunity to hear this address, particularly in English and in Chinese. So as a public service, we put it out there. This will do it for us. We'll see you on the political side Friday, Java on many of these networks on Friday morning. Good day, and we started another season of BR on the World over our Boston Red Network and WBRN Radio in Boston. Good day.
Party, that is, of course, the Chinese Communist Party. And in the coming week, they have a lot of things to cover. They will talk about General Secretary Xi Jinping's speech. They will revise the party's constitution. They will elect
Communist Party of China's 19th National Congress is officially launched. Please all stand up. Sing the national anthem. Please take your seats.
Now,
when we're holding the 19th National Congress, and at this solemn moment, we will hold our sense of respect to pay our tribute to the previous leaders like Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, Liu Shaoqi, Zhu De, Deng Xiaoping, Chen Yun, and all the other former communist leaders and warriors. Now let's rise to pay our tribute to them. Distinguished delegates, the Communist Party of China's 19th National Congress should have a number of attendees of 2,280. Special delegates stand at the number of 74. In total, we have 2,354 delegates to be present. And today, due to some other reasons, we have a leave of about 16 people. So actually we have 2,338 delegates present right now. And we also have some other members, aside from the Communist Party of China and the other circles of lives, being with us right now. Now let's applaud for their presence. Now, let's give the floor to President Xi Jinping on behalf of the 18th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China to deliver the report. Comrades, now, on behalf of the 18th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, I will now deliver a report to the 19th National Congress. The 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China is a meeting of great importance taking place during the decisive stage in building a moderately prosperous society in all respects, and at a critical moment as socialism with Chinese characteristics has entered a new era. The theme of the Congress is remain true to our original aspiration and keep our mission firmly in mind. Hold high the banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Secure a decisive victory in building a moderately prosperous society in all respects. Strive for the great success of socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. And work tirelessly to realize the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. Never forget why you started. and you can accomplish your mission.
中国共产党人的初心
The original aspiration and mission of the Chinese communists is to seek happiness for the Chinese
为
people
中华民
and
族谋复兴。
rejuvenation for the Chinese nation.
这个初心和
This
使命
founding aspiration and mission is what inspires Chinese communists to
根本
advance.
全党同志一定要
In our
永远
party, each and every one of us must always breathe the same breath as the people, share the same future, and stay truly connected to
人民
them.
对美好
The
生活的向
aspirations
往
of the people to live a better life must always be the focus of our efforts.
以永不
We must
懈怠
keep
的
on
精神
striving
状
with
态
endless energy toward the
和
great
一往无
goal
前的奋斗姿
of
态
the national
继续朝着
rejuvenation.
实现中华民族伟大复兴的宏伟目标奋勇前进。当前
Right now,
国内外形势正在
both
发生
China
深
and the
刻
world
复杂变化，
are in the midst of profound and
我国
complex
发展仍
changes.
处于重要战略机遇，
China is still in an important period of strategic
前景
opportunity for
十分
development.
光明，
The prospects are bright, but
也十分
the
严重。
challenges are severe.
全党同志
All
一定要
comrades
登高望远，
must aim
居
high
安思危，
and look far, be
勇于
alert
变
to
革，
dangers even
勇
in
于
times
创
of
新，
calm, have the
永不
courage
僵
to
化，
reform and break new
永不
grounds,
停滞，
never become hardened to
团结
change
带
or
领全国各
inactive.
族人民
We will unite the Chinese people of all ethnic groups and lead them to a decisive victory in building a moderately prosperous society in all respects and to secure the success of socialism with Chinese characteristics.
一
Firstly,
过去5年的工作
about the past 5
和历
years,
史性变
our
化，
work and historic change.
18大以来的5年，
The 5 years since the
是党和
18th
国家
National
发展
Congress
进程中
have been
极不
a
平
truly
凡
remarkable 5 years in the course of the
面
development
对
of
世
the
界经
party
济
and the
复苏乏
country.
力，
Outside China, we have been confronted with sluggish global economic recovery, frequent outbreaks of regional conflicts and disturbances, and intensifying global issues.
进入新常
At
态
home, we have entered profound changes as China has entered a new normal in economic
坚持稳
development.
中求进，
We have
工作
upheld the
低调
underlying principle of pursuing progress while ensuring stability, risen to challenges, pioneered and pushed ahead, and made historic achievements in reform, opening up, and socialist modernization.
为贯彻18大精神，
To put the guiding principles from our 18th National Congress into action, the Party Central Committee has held 7 plenary sessions.
就政府机构改革和治理
There, decisions and plans were made on issues of major importance, from reforming the institutions, transforming the functions of government, to deepening reform in all areas, advancing law-based governance, formulating 13th five-year plan, and seeing governance of the party is exercised fully and with vigor.
5年来，我们
In the
统筹
past
推
5
进
years, we
唯一
have
主义
implemented the 5-sphere integrated plan and the 4-pronged comprehensive
“十二
strategy,
五”规划胜利完成，
fulfilled the goals of the 12th five-year plan, and made smooth progress in implementing the 13th five-year plan. On all fronts, new advances have been made for the cause of the party and the country.
经济建设取得重
We
大
have
成
made major achievements in economic development.
坚定不移贯彻
We
新
have
发展
remained
理念，
committed to the new development
坚决端正
philosophy,
发展观念，
adopted the right approach to
转变发展方
development,
式，
and endeavored to transform
发
the
展质
growth
量和
model.
效益，
The result has been a
不断提升。
constant improvement in the quality and effect of
经济
development.
保持中高速
The
增长，
economy has maintained a medium-high growth
在世
rate,
界主要国家中
making
名
China
列前
a
茅
leader among the major economies.
国内生产总值
With the
从
GDP
54
rising from 54 trillion
增长到
to
80万亿元，
80 trillion RMB yuan, China has maintained its position as the world's second largest economy and contributed more than 30% of global economic growth.
供给侧结构性改革
The supply
深入
side structural reform has made further headway. bringing a steady improvement in the economic structure. Emerging industries like the digital economy are thriving. The construction of high-speed railways, highways, bridges, ports, airports, and other types of infrastructure has picked up pace. Agricultural modernization has steadily advanced. The annual grain production has reached 600 million metric tons. The level of urbanization has risen by an annual average of 1.2 percentage points. And more than 80 million people who have moved from rural to urban areas have gained permanent urban residency. Regional development has become more balanced. The Belt and Road Initiative and coordinated development of the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region and the development of the Yangtze Economic Belt have made notable progress. Through devoting great energy to implementing the innovation-driven development strategy, we have seen accomplishments towards making China a country of innovators, with major advances made in science and technology, including Tiangong 2 Space Lab, deep-sea manned submersible Jiaolong, and of the 500-meter aperture spherical telescope Tianyan, the launch of dark matter probe satellite Wukong, and quantum science satellite Mozi, and the test flights of C919. Construction on islands and reefs in South China Sea has seen steady growth. Open economy has been steadily improved. Now China leads the world in trade, outbound investment, and foreign exchange reserves. We have made major breakthroughs in deepening reform. We have taken comprehensive steps to deepen reform quickly but steadily, and worked with resolve to remove institutional barriers in all areas. We have taken moves across the board, achieved breakthroughs in many areas, and made deeper progress in reform. We have pursued reform in a more systematic, holistic, and coordinated way, increasing its coverage and depth. Thanks to the launch of over 1,500 reform measures, breakthroughs have been made in many key areas, and the general frameworks for reform have been established in major fields. The system of socialism with Chinese characteristics has been further improved, with notable progress made in modernizing China's system and capacity for governance. Throughout society, development is full of vitality and is driven by greater creativity. We have taken major steps in developing democracy and the rule of law. We have actively developed socialist democracy and advanced law-based governance. We have stepped up institution building across the board to make integrated advances in party leadership and the people running the country and law-based governance. We have improved the institutions and mechanisms by which the party exercises leadership in a continuous way. Steady progress has been made in enhancing socialist democracy, inter-party democracy has been expanded, and socialist consultative democracy is flourishing. The patriotic united front has been consolidated and developed, and new approaches have been adopted for work related to ethnic and religious affairs. Further progress has been made in ensuring our legislation is sound, law enforcement is strict, judicial justice is upheld, and the law is observed by everyone. Our efforts to build a country, government, and society based on the rule of law have been mutually reinforcing. The system of distinctively Chinese socialist rule of law has been steadily improved, and public awareness of the rule of law has risen markedly. Good progress has been made in piloting the reform of the national supervision system, and effective measures have been taken to reform the system of government administration and judicial system and develop systems to apply checks and oversight over the exercise of power. We have made significant advances on theoretical and cultural fronts. We have strengthened party leadership over ideological work. and explored new ground in advancing party-related theories. The importance of Marxism as a guiding theory is even better appreciated. Socialism with Chinese characteristics and the China dream have been embraced by our people. Core socialist values and fine traditional Chinese culture are alive in the people's hearts. Initiatives to improve public etiquette and ethical standards have proved successful. Public cultural services have been improved. Art and literature are thriving, and cultural programs and industries are going strong. The development, administration, and functioning of Internet services have been enhanced. Fitness for all programs and competitive sports have seen extensive growth. Our country's underlying values hold greater appeal than ever before, and the wave of positive energy felt throughout the society is building. We, the Chinese people, have greater confidence in our culture. China's soft power and international influence of the Chinese culture have greatly been improved. There is greater unity in thinking both within the party and throughout society. We have steadily improved people's living standards. Our vision of making development people-centered has been acted on. A whole raft of initiatives to benefit the people has seen implementation, and the people's sense of fulfillment has grown stronger. Decisive progress has been made in the fight against poverty. More than 60 million people have been lifted out of poverty, and the poverty headcount ratio has dropped from 10.2% to less than 4%. All-round progress has been made in the development of education, with remarkable advances made in the central and western regions and in rural areas. Employment has registered steady growth, with an average of over 13 million urban jobs created each year. Growth of urban and rural personal incomes has outpaced economic growth, and the middle income group has been expanding. A social security system covering both urban and rural residents has taken shape. Both public health and medical services have improved markedly. The solid progress has been made in building government-subsidized projects to ensure basic housing needs are met. Social governance systems have been improved. Law and order has been maintained, and national security has been fully enhanced. We have made notable progress in building an ecological civilization. We have devoted serious energy to ecological conservation. As a result, the entire party and the whole country have become more purposeful and active in pursuing green economy. And there has been a clear shift away from the tendency to neglect ecological and environmental protection. Efforts to develop a system for building an ecological civilization have been accelerated, and the system of functional zoning has been improved. Progress has been made in piloting the national park system. Across-the-board efforts to conserve resources have seen encouraging progress, and the intensity of energy and resource consumption has been significantly reduced. Smooth progress has been made in major ecological conservation and restoration projects, and forest coverage has been increased. Ecological and environmental governance has been significantly strengthened, leading to marked improvements in the environment. Taking a driving seat in international cooperation to respond to climate change, China has become an important participant, contributor, and torchbearer in the global endeavor for ecological civilization. We have initiated a new stage in strengthening and revitalizing the armed forces. With a view to realizing the Chinese dream and the dream of building a powerful military, we have developed a strategy for the military under new circumstances and have made every effort to modernize national defense and the armed forces. We convened the Gutian military political work meeting to revive and pass on the proud traditions and fine conduct of our party and our armed forces, and have seen a strong improvement in the political integrity of the People's Armed Forces. Historic breakthroughs have been made in reforming national defense and the armed forces. We have established a new military structure with the Central Military Commission exercising leadership, the theater commands responsible for military operations, and the services focusing on developing capacities. This represents a revolutionary restructuring of the organization and the services of the People's Armed Forces. We have strengthened military training and war preparedness and undertaken major missions related to the protection of maritime rights, countering terrorism, maintaining stability, disaster rescue and relief, international peacekeeping, escort services in the Gulf of Aden, and humanitarian assistance. We have stepped up to weapons and equipment development and made major progress in enhancing military preparedness. The People's Armed Forces have taken solid strides on the path of building a powerful military with Chinese characteristics.
We have made new progress in work related to Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. We have fully and faithfully implemented the principle of one country, two systems and ensured that the central government exercises its overall jurisdiction over Hong Kong and Macau as mandated by the Chinese Constitution and Basic Law of the two special administrative regions. We have thus boosted exchanges and cooperation between the mainland and the two regions and maintained prosperity and stability in Hong Kong and Macau. We have upheld the One China principle and 1992 consensus, promoted the peaceful development of cross-strait relations, strengthened cross-strait economic and cultural exchanges and cooperation, and held a historical meeting between the leaders of the two sides. We have responded as appropriate to the political development in Taiwan, resolutely opposed and deterred separatist elements advocating Taiwan independence, and vigorously safeguarded peace and stability in the Taiwan Straits. We have made further progress in China's diplomacy on all fronts. We have made all-round efforts in the pursuit of major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics, thus advancing China's diplomatic agenda in a comprehensive, multi-level, multifaceted way and creating a favorable external environment for China's development. We have jointly pursued the Belt and Road Initiative, initiated the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, set up the Silk Road Fund, and hosted the first Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation, the 22nd APEC Economic Leaders Meeting, the G20 2016 Summit in Hangzhou, the BRICS Summit in Xiamen, and the fourth summit of the Conference on Interactions and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia. China champions development for a community with a shared future of mankind and encourages the development of a global governance system. With this, we have seen a further rise in China's international influence, ability to inspire and power to shape. And China has made great new contributions to global peace and development. We have achieved remarkable outcomes, ensuring full and strict governance over the party. We have made sweeping efforts to strengthen party leadership and party building, and taken strong actions in transform lax and weak governance over the party. We encourage all party members to hold the party constitution in great esteem, or urge them to strengthen their consciousness of the need to maintain political integrity, think in big picture terms, and follow the leadership core in keeping alignment, and to uphold the authority of the Central Committee and the centralized unified leadership, with tightened political discipline and rules to ensure the political responsibility for governance over the party is fulfilled at each level of the party organization. We have committed to examining ourselves in a mirror, tightening our attire, taking a bath, and treating our alignments. Launched activities to see members command and act on the party's mass line, and initiate a campaign for the observation of the 3 stricts and 3 earnests. We have regularized and institutionalized the requirement for all party members to have a solid understanding of the party constitution, party regulations, and related major policy addressed to meet party standards. As a result, the ideals and conviction of all party members have been strengthened, and their sense of the party consensus have deepened. We have adapted a standard fitting for a new era to assess the caliber of officials and achieve a notable improvement in the way officials are selected and appointed. Further advances have been made in the reform and institutional framework for party building. We have given top priority to ensure compliance with the party discipline and tackle the prominent problems that promote the strong public reaction that threaten to erode the very foundation of the party governance. We adopt the 8-point decisions on improving party and government conduct have taken through actions against practice or formularities for formality's sake, bureaucratism, hedonism, and extravagance, and have staunchly opposed privilege-seeking. Discipline inspections have cut like blades through corruptions and misconduct. They have covered every party committee in all departments at the central and provincial levels. No place has been out of bounds, and no grounds left unturned, and no tolerance shown in the fight against corruption. We have taken firm action to take out tigers, whiteflies, and hunt down foxes. The goal of creating the deterrent against corruption have been initiated, attained. The cage institutions that prevent corruption have been strengthened, and more defense against corruption are in the making. The anti-corruption campaign has been built, and a passion tide has been consolidated and continues to develop. The achievement of the past 5 years have touched every area and broken new grounds. The changes in China over the past 5 years have been profound and fundamental. For 5 years, our party has demonstrated tremendous political courage and powerful sense of mission as it had developed new ideas, new thinking, and new strategies. Adopted a raft of major principles and policies, launched a host of major initiatives, and pushed ahead with many major tasks. We have solved many tough problems that were long on the agenda but never resolved, and accomplished many things that were wanted but never got done. With this, we have promoted historical shifts in the cause of the party and the country. These historical changes will have a powerful and far-reaching effect on the development of this cause. Over the past 5 years, we have acted with courage to confront major risks and tests facing the party and to address prominent problems with the party itself. Within firm resolve, we have tightened discipline and improved party conduct, fought corruption and punished wrongdoings, and removed serious potential dangers in the party and the country. As a result, both the inter-party political atmosphere and the political ecosystem of the party have improved markedly. The party's ability to innovate, power to unite, and energy to fight have all been significantly strengthened. Party solidarity and unity have been reinforced, and our engagement with the people has been greatly improved. Revolutionary tempering has been made our party stronger and is now radiates with great vitality. With this efforts to develop the cause of the party and the country have gained a strong political underpinning. But we must be very clear. There are still many inadequacies in our work and many difficulties and challenges to face. The main ones are as follows. Some acute problems caused by unbalanced and inadequate development await solutions, and the quality and effect of development are not what they should be, and China's ability to innovate needs to be stronger. The real economy awaits improvement, and we have a long way to go in protecting the environment. In work on public well-being, there are still many areas where we fall short, and poverty alleviation remains a formidable task. There are still large disparities in development between rural and urban areas, between regions, and in income distribution, and our people face many difficulties in environment, employment, education, healthcare, housing, and elderly care. The level of civil-mindedness needs further improvement. Social tension and problems are intertwined. Much remains to be done in seeing the country's governance is based in law, and China's system capacity for governance need to be further strengthened. Ideological struggles is still complicated, and in national security we face new developments. Some reform plans and major policies and measures need to be better implemented. Many dimensions of party building remain weak. These are all problems that demand our full attention to resolve. The achievements in the past 5 years are the result of a strong leadership of the party's Central Committee, and more importantly, the result of all party members and all the Chinese people pulling together in our pursuit. On behalf of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, I express our heartfelt thanks to the people of all ethnic groups, to all the other political parties, to people's organizations, and patriotic figures from all sectors of society, to our fellow countrymen and women in the Hong Kong and Macau Special Administrative Region, and in Taiwan, to overseas Chinese, and to all our friends from around the world who have shown understanding and the support for China's modernization. Comrades, in the early days of reform and opening up, the party made a clarion call for us to take a path of our own and build socialism with Chinese characteristics. Since that time, the party has united to lead all the Chinese people in tireless struggle, propelling China into a leading position in terms of economic and technological strength, defense capacities, and composite national strength. China's international standing has risen as never before. Our party, our country, our people, our forces, and our nation have changed in ways without precedent. The Chinese nations, with an entirely new posture, now stands tall and firm in the East. With decades of hard work, socialism with Chinese characteristics has crossed the threshold into a new era. This is a new historical juncture in China's development. This is what socialists with Chinese characteristics entering a new era mean. The Chinese nation, which since modern time began, has endured so much for so long, has achieved tremendous transformation, has stood up, grown rich, and become strong. And it now embraces the brilliant prospect of rejuvenation. It means that scientific socialism is full of vitality in the 21st century of China, and that the banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics is now flying high and proud for all to see. It means that the path, the theory, the system, and the culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics have kept developing, blazing a new trail for other developing countries to achieve modernization. It offers for other countries and nations who want to speed up their development while preserving their independence a new option, and it offers Chinese wisdom and the Chinese approach to solving the problems facing mankind. This new era will be an era of building on past successes to further advance our cause, and of continuing in a new historical context to strive for the success of socialism with Chinese characteristics. It will be an era of securing a decisive victory in building a moderately prosperous society in all respects, and for moving on to all our efforts to build a green, modern, socialist country. It will be an era for the Chinese people, all ethnic groups, to work together and work hard to create a better life for themselves and ultimately achieve common prosperity for everyone. It will be an era for all of us, the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation, to strive with one heart to realize the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. It will be an era that sees China moving closer to center stage and making greater contributions to mankind. As socialism with China characteristics has entered a new era, the principal contradiction facing Chinese society has evolved. What we now face is the contradiction between unbalanced and inadequate development of the people's ever-growing needs for a better life. And China has seen the basic needs of over 1 billion people met, have basically made it possible for people to live decent lives, and will soon bring the building of a moderately prosperous society to a successful completion. The needs to be met for the people to live a better life are increasingly broad. Not only have their material and cultural needs grown, their demands for democracy, rule of law, fairness and justice, security, and a better environment are increasing. Well, China's overall productive forces have significantly improved, and in many areas our production capacity leads the world. Our problem is that our development is unbalanced and inadequate. This has become the main constraining factor in meeting the people's increasing need for a better life. We must recognize that the evolution of the principal contradiction facing Chinese society represents a historic change that affects the whole landscape, that creates many new demands for the work of the party and the country. Building a continued efforts to sustain development, we must devote great energy to addressing development imbalances and inadequacies, and push hard to improve the quality and effect of development. With this, we will better place to meet the ever-growing economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological needs of our people, and to promote well-rounded human development and all-round social progress. We must recognize that the evolution of the principal contradiction facing Chinese society does not change our assessment of the present stage of socialism in China. The basic dimension of the Chinese context that our country still and will long remain in a primary stage of socialism has not changed. China's international status as the world's largest developing country has not changed. The whole party must be completely clear about this fundamental dimension of our national context and must base our work on this most important reality, that is the primary stage of socialism. We must remain fully committed to the party's basic line as the source that keeps the party and the country going and that bring happiness to the people. We must lead and unite the Chinese people of all ethnic groups in fulfilling the central task of economic development. We must uphold the four cardinal principles, continue to reform and opening up, be self-reliant, hardworking and enterprising, and strive to build China into a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful.
Comrades, Chinese socialism's entrance into a new era is in the history of the development of the People's Republic of China and the history of the development of the Chinese nation, in the history of the development of international socialism and the history of the development of human society. It is of tremendous importance as well. Our entire party should develop unshakable confidence, work hard and work well to see socialism with Chinese characteristics display even stronger vitality. Secondly, the new era, the historic mission of the Communist Party of China. 100 years ago, the salvos of the October Revolution brought Marxism-Leninism to China. In the scientific truth of Marxism and Leninism, Chinese progressives saw a solution to China's problems. With the advent of modern times, Chinese society became embroiled in intense upheavals. This was a time of fierce struggle as the Chinese people resisted feudal rule and foreign aggression. It was in the midst of this, in 1921 as Marxism-Leninism was integrated with the Chinese workers' movement that Communist Party of China was born. From that moment on, the Chinese people have had in the party a backbone for their pursuit of national independence and liberation, of a stronger and more prosperous country, and of their own happiness. And the mindset of the Chinese people has changed from passivity to taking the initiative. With a history of more than 5,000 years, our nation created a splendid civilization, made remarkable contributions to mankind, and became one of the world's great nations. But with the Opium War of 1840, China was plunged into the darkness of domestic turmoil and foreign aggression. Its people were ravaged by wars, saw their homeland torn, and lived in poverty and despair. With tenacity and heroism, countless dedicated patriots fought, pressed ahead against the odds, and tried every possible means to seek the nation's salvation. But despite their efforts, they were powerless to change the nature of society in old China and the plight of the Chinese people. National rejuvenation has been the greatest dream of the Chinese people since modern times began. At its founding, the Communist Party of China made realizing communism its highest ideal and its ultimate goal, and shouldered the historic mission of national rejuvenation. In pursuing this goal, the party has united the Chinese people and led them through arduous struggles to epic accomplishments. Our party was deeply aware that to achieve national rejuvenation, it was critical to topple the three mountains of imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism that were oppressing the Chinese people, and realize China's independence, the people's liberation, national reunification, and social stability. Our party united the people and led them in embarking on the right revolutionary path, using rural areas to encircle the cities and seizing state power with military force. We completed the new democratic revolution through 28 years of painful struggle, and in 1949 founded the People's Republic of China, thus marking China's great transition from a millennia-old feudal autocracy to a people's democracy. Our party was deeply aware that to achieve national rejuvenation, it was essential to establish an advanced social system that fits China's reality. It united the people and led them in completing socialist revolution, establishing socialism as China's basic system, and advancing socialist construction. This completed the broadest and most profound social transformation in the history of the Chinese nation. It created the fundamental political conditions and institutional foundation for achieving all development and progress in China today. Thus was made a great transition. The Chinese nation reversed its fate from the continuous decline of modern times to steady progress toward prosperity and strength. Our party was deeply aware that to achieve national rejuvenation, it was imperative to follow the tide of the times, respond to the wishes of the people, and have the courage to reform and open. And this awareness created a powerful force for advancing the cause of the party and the people. Our party united the people and led them in launching the great new revolution of reform and opening up. in removing all ideological and institutional barriers to our country and nation's development, and in embarking on the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Thus was China able to stride ahead to catch up with the times. Over the past 96 years, to accomplish the historic mission of national rejuvenation, whether in times of weakness or strength, whether in times of adversity or smooth sailing, our party has never forgotten its founding mission, nor wavered its pursuit. It has united the people and led them in conquering countless challenges, making enormous sacrifices, meeting setbacks squarely, and courageously righting wrongs. Thus, we have, time and again, overcome the seemingly insurmountable and created miracle upon miracle that has been seen in history. Comrades, today we are closer, more confident, and more capable than ever before of making the goal of national rejuvenation a reality. As the Chinese saying goes, the last leg of a journey just marks the halfway point. Achieving national rejuvenation will be no walk in the park. It will take more than drum beating and gong clanging to get there. Every one of us in the party must be prepared to work even harder toward this goal. Realizing our great dream demands a great struggle. It is in the movement of contradictions that a society advances. Where there is contradiction, there is struggle. If our party is to unite and lead the people to effectively respond to major challenges, withstand major risks, overcome major obstacles, and address major conflicts, it must undertake a great struggle with many new contemporary features. All thinking and behavior in the vein of pleasure-seeking, inaction, and sloth and problem avoidance are unacceptable. Every one of us in the party must do more to uphold party leadership and the Chinese socialist system, and resolutely oppose all statements and actions that undermine, distort, or negate them. We must do more to protect our people's interests and firmly oppose all moves that damage their interests or put distance between the party and the people. We must do more to devote our energies to the contemporary current of reform and innovation and resolvedly address deep-rooted problems. We must do more to safeguard China's sovereignty, security, and development interests, and staunchly oppose all attempts to split China or undermine its ethnic unity, social harmony, and stability. We must do more to guard against all kinds of risks and work determinedly to prevail over every political, economic, cultural, social, and natural difficulties and challenge. Every party member must firmly appreciate the long-term, complex, and onerous nature of this great struggle. We must be ready to fight, build our ability, and keep striving to secure new victories in this struggle. Realizing our great dream demands a great project. This project is the great new project of party building that is just getting into full swing. As history has shown and will continue to bear witness to, without the leadership of the Communist Party of China, national rejuvenation would be just a wishful thinking. To remain the vanguard of the times, the backbone of the nation, and a Marxist governing party,
自身必须
our party must always hold itself to the highest standards.
全党要更加自觉地坚定
Every party member must be more actively involved in enhancing party consciousness and demonstrate commitment to party principles. We must have the courage to face problems squarely, be braced for the pain, act to remove whatever undermines the party's purity and advanced nature, and rid ourselves of any virus that erodes the party's health. We must strengthen the party's ability to lead politically, to guide through theory, to organize the people, to inspire society, thus ensuring that the party's great vitality and strong ability are forever maintained. Realizing our great dream demands a great cause. Socialism with Chinese characteristics has been the focus of all of the party's theories and practice since reform and opening up began. It is the fundamental achievement of our party and our people made through countless hardships at enormous cost. The path of socialism with Chinese characteristics is the only path to socialist modernization and a better life for the people. The theory of socialism with Chinese characteristics is the right theory to guide the party and the people to realize national rejuvenation. The system of socialism with Chinese characteristics provides the fundamental institutional guarantee for progress and development in contemporary China. The culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics is a powerful source of strength that inspires all members of the party and the people of all ethnic groups in China. Our whole party must strengthen our confidence in the path, theory, system, and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We must neither retrace our steps to rigidity and isolation of the past, nor take the wrong turn by changing our nature and abandoning our system. We must maintain our political orientation, do the good solid work that sees our country thrive, and continue to uphold socialism with Chinese characteristics. The great struggle, project, cause, and dream are closely connected, flow seamlessly into each other, and are mutually reinforcing. Among them, the great new project of party building plays the decisive role. All work to advance this project must go hand in hand with that geared toward the struggle, the cause, and the dream. We must see that as history progresses and the world undergoes profound changes, the party remains always ahead of the times. That as history progresses and we respond to risks and tests at home and abroad, the party remains always the backbone of the nation. And that as history progresses and we continue to uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics, the party remains always a powerful leadership core. Comrades, our mission is a call to action. Our mission steers the course to the future. We must live up to the trust the people have placed in us and prove ourselves worthy of history's choice. In the great endeavors of building socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era, let us get behind the strong leadership of the party and engage in a tenacious struggle. Let all of us, the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation, come together, keep going, and create a mighty force that enables us to realize the China dream. Thirdly, the thought of socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era and the basic policy. Since our 18th National Congress, changes both in and outside China and the progress made in all areas of China's endeavors have presented us with a profound question, the question of an era. Our answer must be a systematic combination of theory and practice, and must address what kind of socialism with Chinese characteristics the new era requires us to uphold and develop. and how we should go about doing it. This involves fundamental issues like the overarching objectives, tasks, plan, and strategy for upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics, like the direction, model, driving force of development, strategic steps, external conditions, and political guarantees, and so on. As well as this, to uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics, we should, based on new practice, undertake theoretical analysis and produce policy guidance on the economy, political affairs, rule of law, science, technology, culture, education, well-being of our people, ethnic and religious affairs, social development, ecological conservation, national security, defense, and the armed forces, the principle of one country, two systems, national reunification, the United Front, foreign affairs, and party building. In answering this question, our party has been guided by Marxism-Leninism, Mao Zedong Thought, Deng Xiaoping Theory, the theory of three represents, and the scientific outlook on development. It has continued to free our minds, seek truth from facts, move with the times, and apply a realistic and pragmatic approach. In answering this question, our party has continued to uphold dialectical and historical materialism, has considered carefully the new conditions of the era and new requirements of practice, has adopted an entirely new perspective to deepen understanding of laws that underlie governance by the Communist Party, the development of socialism, and evolution of human society. It has worked hard to undertake theoretical explorations and has achieved major theoretical innovations, ultimately giving shape to thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. The thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era makes certain things clear. It makes clear that the overarching goal of upholding socialism with Chinese characteristics is to realize socialist modernization and national rejuvenation. And on the basis of finishing the building of moderately prosperous society in all respects, a two-step approach should be taken to build China into a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful by the middle of the century. It makes clear that the principal contradiction facing Chinese society in the new era is that between unbalanced and inadequate development and the people's ever-growing needs for a better life. We must therefore continue commitment to our people-centered philosophy of development and work to promote well-rounded human development and common prosperity for everyone.
It makes clear that the overall plan for building socialism on Chinese characteristics is the five-sphere integrated plan, and the overall strategy is a four-pronged comprehensive strategy. It highlights the importance of fostering strong confidence in a path, theory, system, and cultural socialism with Chinese characteristics. It makes clear that the overall goal of deepening reforming every field is to improve and develop the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics and modernize China's system and capacity of governance. It makes clear that the overall goal of a comprehensive advancing law-based governance to establish the system of socialism rule of law with Chinese characteristics and build a country of socialist rule of law. Makes clear that party's goal of building a strong military in a new era is to build the people's forces into world-class forces that obeys the party's command and can fight and win and maintain excellent conduct. Makes clear the major country's diplomacy with Chinese characteristics aims to foster a new type of international relations and build a community with shared future for mankind. It makes clear that the defining feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics is the leadership of the Communist Party of China. The greatest strength of the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics is the leadership of the Communist Party of China. A party is the highest force of political leadership, a set forth the general requirements for party building in a new era, and underlines the importance of political work in party building. The thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era builds on and further enriches Marxism-Leninism, Mao Zedong Thought, Deng Xiaoping Theory, the theory of three represent, and the scientific outlook on development. It represents the latest achievement in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and encapsulated the practical experience and collective wisdom of our party and the people is an important component of the system and theories of socialism Chinese characteristics and a guide to action for all members and all of Chinese people as we strive to achieve national rejuvenation. These thoughts must be adhered to and steadily developed on a long-term basis. Everyone in a party should develop a good grasp of the essence and rich implications of thoughts on socialism and Chinese characteristics for a new era and fully and faithfully apply in all of our work. First, ensuring party leadership over all work. The party exercise overall leadership of all areas of endeavors in every part of the country. We must strengthen our consciousness of the need to maintain political integrity, think in big picture term, follow leadership core, and keep in alignment. We must work harder to uphold the authority and centralized, unified leadership of the Central Committee, and closely follow the Central Committee in terms of our thinking, political orientation, and actions. We must improve the institutions and mechanism for upholding party leadership, remain committed to the underlying principle of the pursuing progress with ensuring stability and ensuring coordinated implementation of the five-spear integrated plan and the four-pronged comprehensive strategy. We must strengthen the party's ability and resolve to chart our courses, craft overall plans, design policy, and promote reforms. And we must ensure the party always provides overall leadership and coordinates the effort of all involved. 2. Commit to a people-centered approach. The people are the creators of history, and they are the fundamental force that determines our party and country's future. We must ensure the principal status of the people and adhere to the party's commitment to serving the public goods and exercising power in the interest of the people. We must observe the party's fundamental purpose of wholeheartedly serving the people and put into practice the party's mass line in all aspects of the governance. We must regard as our goal the people's aspiration to live a better life and rely on the people to move history forward. Three, continuing to comprehensive deepen reform. Only with socialism can we save China. Only with reform and opening up can we develop China, develop socialism, and develop Marxism. We must uphold and improve the system of socialism and Chinese characteristics and continue to modernize China's system and capacity for governance. We must have the determination to get rid of all outdated thinking and ideas in all institutional alignments, and to break through the blockades of vested interest. We must draw on the achievements of other civilizations, develop a set of institutions that are well conceived, fully built, procedurally based, and efficiently functioning, and do full justice to the strengthening of China's socialist system. 4. Adopting a new vision for development. Development is the underpinning and key for solving all country problems. Our development must be sound development. We must pursue with firmness for purpose the vision of an innovative, coordinated, green, and open development that is for everyone. We must uphold and improve China's basic socialist economy and socialist distribution system. There must be no irresolution about working to consolidate and develop the public sector, and 3. No resolution about working to encourage, support, and guide the development of the non-public sector. We must see that in resource allocation, the marketplace decides a role in the government's play its role better. We must see that new industrialization, IT application, urbanization, and agricultural modernization go hand in hand. We must actively participate in and promote economic globalization, develop an open economy and higher standards, and continue to increase China's economic power and composite strength. 5. Seeing that people run the country. Commitment to the organic unity of the party leadership, the people running the country, and law-based governance is a natural element of socialist political development. We must keep to the path of socialist political development of Chinese characteristics, uphold and improve the system of People's Congress, the system party-led multi-party cooperation and political consultation, the system of regional ethnic autonomy, and a system of community-level self-governance, and consolidate and develop the broadest possible patriotic united front. We should develop socialist consultative democracy, improve our democratic institution, diversify our forms of democracy, and establish more democratic channels. We must see to that the principle of the people running a country is put into practice in China's political and social activities. 6. Ensuring every dimension of governance is law-based. Law-based governance is an essential requirement and important guarantee for socialism with Chinese characteristics. We must exercise party leadership at every point in the process and over every dimension of law-based governance, and fully committed to promoting socialist rule of law with Chinese characteristics. We must improve the Chinese socialist system of laws, at the heart of which the Constitution established a Chinese system of socialist rule of law, build a socialist country based on the rule of law, and develop Chinese socialist rule of law theory. We must pursue coordinated progress in law-based governance, law-based exercise of state power, and law-based government administration, and promote integrated development of rule of law of the country. And combine law-based governance of the country and rule-based governments over the party. We must further reform of the judicial system and strengthen rule of law awareness among all our people, while also enhancing their moral integrity. 7. Upholding core socialist values. Cultural confidence represents a fundamental and profound force that sustains the development of country and nation. We must uphold Marxism, firm up and further build the ideal of communism and shared ideal of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and nurture and practice core socialist values, while making continued and greater efforts to maintain an initiative and ensure that we have our say in the realm of our ideology. We must promote the creative evolution and development of fine traditional Chinese culture, see our revolutionary culture remain alive and strong, and develop our advanced socialist culture. We should cherish our cultural roots, draw on other culture, and be forward-looking. We should do more to foster Chinese spirit, Chinese values, and Chinese strength, to provide a source of cultural and moral guidance for our people. 8. Ensuring and improving living standards through development. The well-being of the people is the fundamental goal of development. We must do more to improve the lives and address the concerns of the people, and use development to strengthen areas of weaknesses and promote social fairness and justice. We should make steady progress in ensuring people's access to child care, education, employment, medical services, elderly care, housing, and social assistance. We will intensify poverty alleviation, see that all people have greater sense of fulfillment as to contribute to and gain from development, and continue to promote well-rounded human development and common prosperity for everyone. We will continue the Peaceful China Initiative, strengthen and develop new forms of social governance, and ensure social harmony and stability. We must work hard to see our country enjoying peace and stability. Our people live and work in contentment. 9. Ensuring harmony between human and nature. Building an ecological civilization is vital to sustain the Chinese nation's development. We must realize that lucid water and lush mountains are invaluable assets, and act on its understanding, implement our fundamental national policy of conserving resources and protecting the environment, and cherish the environment as we cherish our own lives. We will adopt a holistic approach to conserving our mountains, rivers, forests, farmland, lakes, and grasslands, implement a strictest possible system for environmental protection, and develop eco-friendly growth models and ways of life. We must pursue a model of sustainable development featuring increased production, higher living standard, and healthy ecosystem. We must continue to build the Beautiful China initiative and create good working and living environment for our people and play our part in ensuring global ecological security. 10. Pursuing a holistic approach to national security. We should ensure both development and security and be ever ready to protect against potential dangers in time of peace. This is the major principle underlying the party's governance. We must put national interest first, take protecting our people's security as our mission and safeguarding political security as fundamental task, and ensure both internal and external security, homeland and public security, traditional and non-traditional security, and China's own and common security. We will improve our systems and institutions, enhance capacity building for national security, and resolutely safeguard China's sovereignty, security, and development interests. 11. Upholding absolute party leadership over the people's forces. Building people's forces and obey the party's command can fight and win and maintain excellent conduct is strategically important to achieving the two centenary goals and national rejuvenation. To realize the party's goal of building a powerful military in a new era, we must fully implement the fundamental principle and system of the party leadership of the military and see that party strategy on strengthening military capacity for the new era guides to work and build national defense in the armed forces. We must continue to enhance the political loyalty of the armed forces, strengthen them through reforms and technology, and run them in accordance with the law. We must place greater focus on combat, encouraging innovation, build systems, increasing efficacy and efficiency, and further military-civilian integration. 12. Upholding the principle of one country, two systems, and promoting national reunification. Maintaining lasting prosperity and stability in Hong Kong and Macau and achieving China's full reunification are essential to realizing national rejuvenation. We must ensure both the central government's overall jurisdiction over Hong Kong and Macau's special administrative regions and a high degree of autonomy in these two regions. We should ensure that the principle of one country, two systems remain unchanged, is unwaveringly upheld, and in practice is not bent or distorted. We must uphold the One China principle and the 1992 consensus, promote the peaceful development of cross-strait relations, deepen economic cooperation and cultural exchanges between the two sides of the straits, and encourage fellow Chinese on both sides to oppose all separatist activities and work together to realize Chinese nation rejuvenation.
Thirteenth, promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. The dream of the Chinese people is closely connected with the dreams of the peoples of other countries, and the Chinese dream can be realized only in a peaceful international environment and under a stable international order. We must keep in mind both our internal and international imperatives, stay on the path of peaceful development, and continue to pursue a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up. We will uphold justice while pursuing shared interests, and will foster new thinking on common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security. We will pursue open, innovative, and inclusive development that benefits everyone, boost cross-cultural exchanges characterized by harmony within diversity, inclusiveness, and mutual learning, and cultivate ecosystems based on respect for nature and green development. China will continue its efforts to safeguard world peace, contribute to global development, and uphold international order. 14th, exercising full and rigorous governance over the party. To have the courage to carry out self-reform and conduct strict self-governance, this is the most distinctive part of our party's good character. We must uphold the party constitution as our fundamental rules. Give top priority to the political work of the party. Combine efforts on ideological work and institutional building, and strengthen party competence in all respects. We must focus on oversight over the key field, by which we mean leading officials, and see that the principle of 3 districts and 3 earnests are observed. We must uphold democratic centralism, ensure that inter-party political activities are carried out in earnest, impose strict party discipline, and strengthen internal oversight. We must develop a positive and healthy political culture in the party and improve the party's political ecosystem, resolutely correct misconduct in all its forms, and show zero tolerance for corruption. We will continue to strengthen the party's ability to purify, improve, and reform itself, and forever maintain its close ties with the people. The above 14 points form the basic policy that underpins our endeavors to uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. All our members must fully implement the party's basic theory, party line, and policy, so as to better steer the development of the party and people's cause. Just as there are no bounds to practice, there is no end to theoretical exploration. The world is changing with every second, every moment. And China, too, is changing with every second and every moment. We must ensure our theory evolves with the times. Deepen our appreciation of objective laws and advance our theoretical, practical, institutional, cultural, and other explorations and innovations. Comrades, the era is the mother of thought. Practice is the fount of theory. If we respond to the call of our times and have the courage to uphold truth and correct errors, the Marxism of 21st century China will, without a doubt, emanate more mighty, more compelling power of truth. Fourthly, securing a decisive victory in building a moderately prosperous society in all respects and embarking on a journey to fully build a modern socialist China. After adopting the policy of reform and opening up, our party laid out 3 basic strategy goals for achieving socialist modernization in China. The first 2, ensuring that people's basic needs are met and that their lives are generally decent, have been accomplished ahead of time. Building on this, our party then developed the vision that by the time we, the party, celebrate our centenary, we will have developed our society into a moderately prosperous one with a stronger economy, greater democracy, more advanced science and education, thriving culture, greater social harmony, and a better quality of life of our people. After this, with another 30 years of work, and by the time we celebrate the centenary of the People's Republic of China, we will have basically achieved modernization and turned China into a modern socialist country. The period between now and 2020 will be decisive in finishing the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects. We must follow the requirements on building this society set out at our 16th, 17th, and 18th National Congresses, act in response to the evolution of the principal contradiction in Chinese society, and promote coordinated economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological advancement. We must show firm resolve in implementing the strategy for invigorating China through science and education, the strategy on developing a quality workforce, innovation-driven development strategy, and the rural vitalization strategy. The coordinated regional development strategy, the sustainable development strategy, and the military-civilian integration strategy. We must focus on priorities, address inadequacies, and shore up points of weakness. In this regard, I want to stress that we must take tough steps to forestall and defuse major risks, carry out targeted poverty alleviation, and prevent and control pollution, so that the moderately prosperous society we build earns the people's approval and can stand the test of time. The period between the 19th and the 20th National Congress is the period in which the time frames of the 2 centenary goals converge. In this period, not only must we finish building a moderately prosperous society in all respects and achieve the first centenary goal, we must also build on this achievement to embark on a new journey toward the second centenary goal of fully building a modern socialist country. Based on the comprehensive analysis of international and domestic environments and conditions for China's development, we have drawn up a 2-stage development plan for the period from 2020 to the middle of this century. In the first stage, from 2020 to 2035, we will build on the foundation created by the moderately prosperous society with a further 15 years of hard work to see that socialist modernization is basically realized by that time. By that time, China's economic and technological strength has increased significantly. China has become a global leader in innovation. The rights of the people to participate and to develop as equals are adequately protected. The rule of law for the country, the government, the society is basically in place. Institutions in all fields are further improved. The modernization of China's system and capacity for governance is basically achieved. Social etiquette and civility are significantly enhanced. China's cultural soft power has grown much stronger. Chinese culture has greater appeal. People are leading more comfortable lives. And the size of the middle-income group has grown considerably. Disparities in urban-rural development, in development between regions, and in living standards are significantly reduced. Equitable access to basic public services is basically ensured, and solid progress has been made toward prosperity for everyone. A modern social governance system has basically taken shape, and society is full of vitality, harmony, and order. There is a fundamental improvement in the environment, and the goal of building a beautiful China is basically attained. In the second stage, from 2035 to the middle of the 21st century, we will, building on having basically achieved modernization, work hard for a further 15 years and develop China into a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful. By the end of this stage, new heights are reached in every dimension of material, political, cultural, ethical, social, and ecological advancement. Modernization of China's system and capacity for governance is achieved. China has become a global leader in terms of composite national strength and international influence. Common prosperity for everyone is basically achieved. The Chinese people enjoy happier, safer, and healthier lives. The Chinese nation will become a proud and active member of the community of nations by that time. Comrades, this is our strategic vision for developing socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. Finish building a moderately prosperous society in all respects, proceed to basically realize modernization, and then move on to turn China into a great modern socialist country. We must work with resolve and tenacity and write a brilliant chapter on our new journey to socialist modernization. Fifthly, applying a new vision of development and developing a modernized economy. To deliver on the two centenary goals, realize the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation, and steadily improve our people's lives, we must continue to pursue development as the party's top priority in governance. We must unleash and develop productive forces, continue reforms to develop socialist market economy, and promote sustained and sound economic growth. China's economy has been transitioning from a phase of rapid growth to a stage of high-quality development. This is a pivotal stage for transforming our growth model, improving our economic structure, and fostering new drivers of growth. It is imperative that we develop a modernized economy. This is both an urgent requirement for getting us smoothly through this critical transition and a strategic goal for China's development. We must put quality first and give priority to performance. We should pursue supply-side structural reform as the main task and work hard for better quality, higher efficiency, more robust drivers of economic growth through reform. We need to raise total factor productivity and accelerate the building of an industrial system that promotes coordinated development of the real economy with technological innovation, modern finance, and human resource. We must endeavor to develop an economy with more effective market mechanisms, dynamic micro-entities, and sound macro-regulation. This will steadily strengthen the innovation capacity and competitiveness of China's economy. First, further supply-side structural reform. In developing a modernized economy, we must focus on the real economy. We must give priority to improving the quality of the supply system and enhance our economy's strength in terms of quality. We will work faster to build China into a manufacturer of quality and develop advanced manufacturing, promote further integration of the Internet, big data, artificial intelligence with the real economy, and foster new growth areas and drivers of growth in medium high-end consumption, innovation-driven development, green and low-carbon economy, sharing economy, modern supply chains, and human capital services. We will support traditional industries in upgrading themselves and accelerate the development of modern service industries to elevate them to international standards. We will move Chinese industries up to the medium-high end of the global value chain and foster a number of world-class advanced manufacturing clusters. We will strengthen infrastructure networks for water conservancy, railways, highways, waterways, aviation, pipelines, power grids, information, and logistics. We will continue efforts to cut overcapacity, reduce excess inventory, deleverage, lower costs, and strengthen areas of weakness, and work to achieve a dynamic balance between supply and demand by improving the allocation of available resources. We will inspire and protect entrepreneurship and encourage more entities to make innovation and start businesses. We will build an educated, skilled, and innovative workforce, foster respect for model workers, promote quality workmanship, and see that taking pride in labor becomes a social norm and seeking excellence is valued as a good work ethic. Second, making China a country of innovators. Innovation is the primary force driving development. It is the strategic underpinning for building a modernized economy. We should aim to reach frontier areas of science and technology, strengthen basic research, and make major breakthroughs in pioneering basic research and path-breaking and original innovations. We will strengthen basic research in applied sciences, launch major national science and technology projects, and prioritize innovation in key generic technologies, cutting-edge frontier technologies, modern engineering technologies, and disruptive technologies. These efforts will provide powerful support for building China's strength in science and technology, product quality, aerospace, cyberspace, and transportation, and for building a digital China and a smart society.
We will improve our national innovation system and boost our strategic, scientific, and technological strength. We will further reform of the management system for science and technology and develop a market-oriented system for technological innovation in which enterprises are the main players and synergy is created through the joint effort of enterprises, universities, and research institutes. We support innovation by small and medium-sized enterprises and encourage application advances in science and technology. We foster a culture of innovation and strengthen creation, protection, and application of intellectual property. We cultivate a large number of world-class scientific and technologies in strategic important fields, scientific and technological leaders, and young scientists and engineers, as well as high-performing innovation teams. Third, pursuing a rural vitalization strategy. Issues relating to agricultural rural areas and rural people are fundamental to China as they directly concern our country's stability and our people's well-being. Addressing these issues should have a central place on the work agenda of the party, and we must prioritize the development of agriculture in rural areas. To build rural areas with thriving businesses, pleasant living environment, social adequacy and civility, effective governance and prosperity, we need to put in place sound system, mechanism, policies for promoting integrated urban-rural development and speed up the modernization of agriculture and rural areas. We will consolidate and improve the basic rural operating system, advance reforms of the rural land system, and improve the system for separating the ownership rights, contract rights, and management rights for contracted rural lands. Rural land contracting practice will remain stable and unchanged on a long-term basis, and current round of contracts will be extended for another 30 years upon expiration. Will press ahead with reforms of the rural collective property rights system, safeguard the property rights and interests of rural people, and strengthen the collective economy. We must ensure China's food security so that we always have control of our own food supply. We will establish an industrial production and business operation system for modern agriculture and improve the system for supporting and protecting agriculture. We develop appropriately scaled agricultural operation of various forms, cultivate new types of agribusiness, improve specialized agricultural services, and encourage small household farmers to become involved in modern agriculture. We promote integrated development of the primary, secondary, and tertiary industry in rural areas, support and encourage employment and business startups there, and open up more channels to increase rural incomes. We will strengthen the basic services in rural communities and improve the governance model in rural areas based on a combination of self-governance, rule of law, and rule of virtue. We will train professional rural service personnel who have great knowledge of agriculture, love our rural areas, and care about rural people. Fourth, implementing the coordinated regional development strategy. We will devote more energy to speeding up the development of old revolutionary base areas, areas with large ethnic minority population, border areas, and poor areas. We'll strengthen measures to reach a new stage in the large-scale development of the western region, deepen reform to accelerate the revitalization of old industrial base in the northeast and other parts of China, help the central region rise by tapping into local strengths, and support the eastern region to take in the lead in pursuing optimal development through innovation. To this end, we need to put in place new effective mechanisms to ensure coordinated development of different regions. We create networks of cities and towns based in city clusters, enabling the coordinated development of cities of different sizes, small towns, and speed up work on guarantee permanent urban residency to people who move from rural areas to urban areas. Relieve Beijing of functional non-essentials to its core as the capital, and use the effort to drive the coordinated development of Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, and will develop forward-looking plans to adopt high standard for building the Xinhua New Area. Will facilitate the development of the Yangtze Economic Belt by promoting well-coordinated development, conservation, and avoid excessive development. Support will be given to resource-depleted areas in the economic transformation, will accelerate development in the border areas and ensure their stability and security, will pursue coordinated land and marine development, and step up efforts to build China into a strong maritime country. Fifth, accelerating efforts to improve the socialist market economy. In our economic reforms, we must concentrate on improving the property rights system and ensuring the market-based allocation of factors of production, so that property rights as an effective incentive, and we should ensure free flows of factors, flexible rises, fair and orderly competition, and business survival is determined by competition. We improve the systems for managing different types of state assets and reform the system that authorize the operation of state capital in the state-owned sector. We will step up, improve the distribution, structural adjustment, and strategic reorganization. We work to see that state assets maintain and increase their value. We support state capital in becoming stronger, doing better and growing bigger, and take effective measures to prevent the loss of state assets. We'll further reform on state-owned enterprises, develop a mixed ownership economic entities, and turn Chinese enterprises into world-class globally competitive firms. We will introduce a negative list for market access nationwide, sort through and do away with regulations and practices that impede the development of a unified market and fair competition, support the growth of private business, and stimulate the vitality of various market entities. We will deepen reforms in the business sector, break administrative monopolies, prelude the reform of market monopolies, speed up the reform of market-based pricing of factors of production, relaxing control over the market access in service sector, and improve market oversight mechanism. We develop new methods to improve macro regulation, give full play to the strategic guidance of national development plans, and improve mechanism for coordinated physical, monetary, industrial, regional, and other economic policies. We will improve systems and mechanisms for stimulating consumer spending and leverage the fundamental role of consumption in promoting economic growth. We will deepen reform of the investment and financing system and enable investment to play a crucial role in improving the supply structure. We will expedite the creation of a modern public finance system and establish the physical relationship between the central and local governments built upon clearly defined powers and responsibilities, appropriate financial resource allocation, and create balance between regions. We'll put in place a comprehensive procedure-based transparent budget system that uses well-conceived standards and impose effective constraints. We'll deepen reform of the taxation system and improve the local tax system. We'll deepen the institutional reform of the financial sector, make it better to serve the real economy, increase the proportion of direct financing, and promote the healthy development of a multi-level capital market. We will improve the framework of regulations underpinned by monetary policy and macro-prudential policy, and see that the interest rates and exchange rates become more market-based. We will improve the financial regulatory system to forestall systematic financial risks. 6. Making new grounds in pursuing opening up on all fronts. Openness brings progress, while self-seclusion leaves one behind. China will not close its doors to the world, will only become more and more open. We should pursue the Belt and Road Initiative as a priority and give equal emphasis to bring in and going global, following the principle of achieving shared growth through discussions and collaboration and increased openness and cooperation in building innovation capacity. With these efforts, we hope to make new grounds in opening China further through links running eastward and westward across land over sea. We'll expand foreign trade, develop new models and new forms of trade, and turn China into a trader of quality. We will adopt policies to promote high-standard liberalization and facilitation of trade investment. We will implement the system of pre-established national treatment plus the negative list across the board, significantly ease market access, further open the service sector, and protect the legitimate rights and interests of foreign investors. All business registered in China will be treated equally. We will improve the balance in opening our different regions and open the Western region wider. We grant more powers to pilot-free zones to conduct reform and explore the opening of free trade ports. We will develop new ways of making outbound investment, promotes international cooperation on production capacity, form globally oriented network of trade, investment, and financing, production, and services, and build up our strengths for international economic cooperation and competition. Comrades, Unlocking and developing the productive forces is the fundamental task of socialism. We must inspire creativity and vitality throughout society and strive to achieve better quality, more efficient, fairer, and more sustainable development. Six, improving the system of institutions through which people run the country and developing socialist democracy. China is a socialist country of people's democratic dictatorship under the leadership of the working class based on an alliance of workers and farmers. It is a country where all powers of the states belongs to the people. China's socialist democracy is the broadest, most genuine, and most effective democracy to safeguard the fundamental interests of the people. This very purpose of developing social democracy is to give full expression to the will of the people, protect their rights, their interests, sparkle their creativity, and provide systematic and institutional guarantees to ensure the people run the country. The path of socialist political development with Chinese characteristics is the logical outcome of the evolution of history, theory, and practice as the Chinese people have long engaged in struggles since its birth in modern times. It is the requisite for maintaining the very nature of the party and fulfilling its fundamental purpose. No two political systems are entirely the same. And a political system cannot be judged in abstraction without regard for its social and political context, its history and its cultural traditions. No one political system should be regarded as the only choice, and we should not just mechanically copy the political systems of other countries. We must uphold long-term and steadily strengthen China's socialist democracy, make active and prudent efforts to advance the reform of the political system, and improve the institution, standards, and procedures of socialist democracy. We should ensure that people participate in accordance with law and in various ways and forms in the management of state, economic, cultural, and social affairs, and consolidate the enhanced political stability, unity, and vitality. First, upholding the unity of party leadership, the people running the country, and law-based governance. Party leadership is the fundamental guarantee for ensuring that people run the country and governance in China is law-based. That the people run the country is an essential feature of socialist democracy. And law-based governance is the basic way for the party to lead the people in governing the country. These three elements are integral components of socialist democracy. In China's political life, our party exercises leadership, strengthening the centralized, unified leadership of the party on the one hand, and on the other, supporting the People's Congress Government Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference or courts and procuratorate in performing their function and play their role in accordance with the law and their charters form a unified pair. Will improve the ways the party exercise leadership and governance to ensure that it leads the people in effective governing the country. Will expand the people's orderly political participation to see that our accordance with the law, they engage in democratic election, consultation, decision-making, management, and oversight. We should uphold the unity, sanctity, and authority of China's legal system and strengthen legal protection for human rights to ensure the people enjoy extensive rights and freedom as prescribed by the law. We should both consolidate government and improve the institution of democracy at a primary level to ensure the people's right to be informed, to participate, to be heard, and to oversee. We improve mechanism for law-based decision-making and put in place mechanism for the exercise of power that ensure sound decision
and unity. Our top priority in building the party through theory is to stay true to our ideals and convictions. We should make all party members keep firmly in mind the party's purpose, have unwavering convictions as communists, resolve the fundamental issue of the worldview, outlook on life, and values we should embrace, and maintain deep belief in and faithfully practice communism and socialism with Chinese characteristics. We will foster a Marxist-style learning and make it regular practice and an institutionalized requirement for all party members to gain a good command of the party constitution, party regulations, and major policy addresses to meet party standards. We must launch a campaign on the theme of staying true to our founding mission to enable all party members, especially officials at and above county and director level, to arm themselves with the party's new theory and become more purposeful in working tirelessly to accomplish our mission. Thirdly, training a contingent of competent and professional officials. Party officials are an essential pillar of strength for the cause of our party and country. We must adhere to the principle of the party supervising officials, select officials on the basis of both integrity and ability, with priority given to integrity and on the basis of merit regardless of background, and ensure that those who are dedicated, impartial, and upright should be appointed. We must implement in earnest the criteria for evaluating good officials. In selecting officials, we must adopt the right approach with emphasis on political performance. We will promote and put in important positions those party officials who do well according to the following criteria. They maintain political integrity, think in terms of big picture, follow the leadership core and keep in alignment with the central party leadership, and have confidence in the path, theory, system, culture of socialism. They uphold the authority of central committee and faithfully follow the party's theories and principles. And they are loyal to the party, have moral integrity, and demonstrate a keen sense of responsibility. We will take seriously the development of specialized expertise and professionalism and enhance the officials' ability to meet requirements of developing socialism. We will identify promising young officials and get them well prepared for future jobs. We will focus on their practical training in local communities, in work on the front line, and in areas where conditions are harsh, and work to produce a constant stream of outstanding young officials who have passed the test of practice. We will ensure coordinated training and selection of female officials, officials from ethnic minorities, and non-party officials. We will ensure that retired officials are well taken care of. We will be both strict and caring and place equal emphasis on providing incentives and imposing constraints. We will improve the performance assessment system for officials, institute incentive mechanisms and mechanisms to allow for errors, and take a clear stand in supporting officials who are willing to assume responsibilities, who take a down-to-earth approach, and who do not seek personal gain. Party organizations at every level should care about officials working at the primary level and solve the problems for them. People with talent are a strategic resource for China as it endeavors to achieve national rejuvenation and stay ahead in international competition. We must follow the principle of the party exercising leadership over personnel, assemble the best minds across the land, and draw fully on their expertise to make China a talent-strong country. We will pursue a more proactive, open, and effective policy on training competent professionals. We shall value people with talent, identify talent, and have the foresight to employ them, be earnest to keep them, and welcome them into our ranks. This will enable us to attract bright people from both within and outside the party, from both within and outside China. In pursuing the great endeavor of the party and the people, we encourage people with talent to work in remote and poor areas, border areas, with mainly ethnic minority populations and old revolutionary-based areas, as well as in the front lines and communities. We will foster an environment in which everyone wants, strives, and is able to excel themselves and can do full justice to their talents. We aim to see that in every field, the creativity is given great expression. Fourthly, strengthening primary-level party organizations. Primary-level party organizations do the groundwork to ensure the party's lines, principles, policies, decisions, and plans are implemented. We will work to ensure that primary-level party organizations in enterprises, villages, party and government departments, school, research institutes, sub-districts, communities, and social organizations play a key role in communicating the party's propositions and carrying out the party's decisions, overseeing community-level social governance, uniting and mobilizing people, promoting reform and development. In doing so, we will focus on improving the organizational capacity of primary-level party organizations and give priority to enhancing their political functions. We must directly guide, manage, oversee the members, and organize, communicate with, unite, and serve them. They should encourage the members to play an exemplary role.
We must practice a system of holding party branch general meetings, meeting of party branches committees, party group meetings, and party lectures. We develop new ways of setting up primary-level party organizations for them to carry out their activities, strengthen the training of their heads, and expand their reach. We must work harder to address the problem that some primary-level organizations are weak, ineffective, and marginalized. We expand inter-party democracy at the primary level, make party affairs more transparent, ensure channels are open for party members to participate in party affairs, oversees party organizations' officials, and submit opinions and suggestions to the party organizations at the next level. We will do more to recruit new party members from among industry workers, young people working in agriculture, more educated group, and people working in non-public economic entities and social organizations. We will give more incentives, solicitude, and assistance to party members. We will make guidance and management of party members better targeted and more effective, and handle party members that don't meet the mark in a prudent and orderly way. Fifth, working ceaselessly to improve party conduct and enforce party discipline. Our party comes from the people and has roots among the people, and is dedicated to serving the people. Once the party becomes disengaged from the people, it will lose its vitality. In improving party conduct, we must focus on maintaining the party's close bond with the people, keeping them firmly in mind, develop a closer affinity with them, and keep working to foster stronger public support for the party's governance. We must earnestly address all issues the people are strongly concerned about and resolutely correct any behaviors that undermines the people's interests. Our party officials should lead by example in consolidating and building on the advances made in implementing the Central Party leadership's 8-point decisions on improving parties and government's conduct. We should continue to address the practice of formalities for formality's sake, bureaucratism, hedonism, and extravagance, and oppose mindset and act of privilege seeking. We'll focus on strengthening enforcement of political and organization discipline and use this to promote stricter observance of discipline on upholding integrity, on interacting with the people, and regarding work and life. We'll continue to carry out criticism and self-criticism in keeping with the principle of learning from mistakes to prevent recurrence in treating the illness to save the patients. We'll conduct 4 forms of oversights over discipline compliance, identifying problems early and correct them while they are nonsense. Party organizations with the power to supervise officials were given corresponding power to take disciplinary actions since called for, and accountability for overseeing the discipline compliance with the tightened up on. We will raise party members' awareness of discipline and strengthen discipline enforcement, and demand that party members and officials hold disciplines in awe and respect, do not cross the line. 6. Securing a sweeping victory in the fight against corruption. The people resent corruption most, and corruption is the greatest threat our party faces. We must have resolve and tenacity to preserve in a never-ending fight against corruption only by intensifying efforts to address both the symptom and root cause of corruption, and making sure that officials are honest, government is clean, and political affairs are handled with integrity, can we avoid history's circle of rise and fall and ensure the long-term stability of the party and the country. Currently, the fights against corruption remain grave and complex. We must remain as firm as a rock in our resolve to build on the overwhelming momentum and secure a sweeping victory. We will continue to see that there are no no-go zones, no ground is left unturned, and no tolerance is shown for corruption. We will impose tight constraints, maintain tough stance, and long-term deterrence. Punish those who take bribes and those who offer them, and prevent interest groups from arising within the party. We will institute a system of disciplinary inspection for city and county level and party committees in an intensified effort to address corruption and occur on people's doorsteps. Wherever offenders may flee, they will be brought back and brought to justice. We will work for the adoption of national anti-corruption legislation and create a corruption reporting platform that covers both disciplinary inspection commission and supervision agency. We will strengthen deterrence so officials daren't be corrupt, strengthen the cage of institutions so they are unable to be corrupt, and strengthen their vigilance so that they have no desire to commit corruption. Our political environment will, like a sea fallen calm and river runs clear, be clear and free of corruption. 7. Improving party and state oversight systems. To improve the party's ability to purify itself, it is essential that we strengthen party self-supervision and subject ourselves to public oversight. We must strengthen checks on and oversight over the exercise of power and ensure that power is exercised under public oversight in broad daylight and an institutional cage. We will strengthen top-down organizational oversight, improve bottom-up democratic oversight, and practice peer oversight, and tighten regular supervision over party members in positions of leadership. We will intensify political inspection to identify problems and ensure that deterrence works. We will establish an oversight network that facilitates coordination in disciplinary inspections conducted at different levels. We'll deepen reforms of the national supervision system, conduct trials throughout the country, and establish supervisory commissions at the national, provincial, city, and county level, which shares office and work together with the Public Disciplinary Inspection Commission. This will ensure that supervision covers everyone in the public sector who exercise public power. A national supervision law will be formulated. Supervisory commission will be given responsibilities, powers, and means of investigations in accordance with the law. We will reform the auditing management system and improve the statistics system. We'll establish an authoritative, efficient oversight system with a complete coverage under the party's unified command and integrate inter-party oversight with oversight by state organs, democratic oversight, judicial oversight, public oversight, oversight through public opinions. Eighth, strengthening every dimension of our ability for governance. To lead a large socialist country of more than 1.3 billion people, our party must be both politically strong and highly competent. We should be good at learning. We should foster a strong atmosphere of learning and practicing in a party and build our party into a Marxist learning party. We should nurture a love of learning in our people. We should be good at exercising political leadership. We should have strategic perspectives, develop critical thinking, and dialogical approach to thinking. We should think in terms of rule of law and think about worst-case scenarios. We should formulate sound party lines, principles, and policy and resolutely implement them, ensuring that the party exercises overall leadership and coordinates work in all areas. We should be good reformers and pioneers. We should be enterprising, work creatively in light of accurate conditions, and adapt to applicate information technology, including internet, in our work. We should be good at promoting sound development. We should effectively put into practice the new development philosophy and continue to break new grounds for development. We should be good at exercising law-based governance. We'll act more quickly to put in place a system, party rules, and regulations that cover all aspects of the party leadership and party building and strengthen and improve party leadership over bodies of state power. We should be good at engaging with the people. We should develop new systems, mechanisms, ways, and means of the work. We will urge trade nations, Chinese Communist Youth League organizations, women's federations, and other people's organizations to strengthen their political consciousness, become more advanced, and better represent the people, to play their role as bridges linking the party with the people, and to organize and motivate the people to follow the party. We should be good at implementing the policy. We should be open and frank, take effective measures to address real issues and seek good outcomes. We should be ready both to act resolutely and swiftly to make sustained efforts to tackle tough issues head-on. We should be good at managing risks. We will improve risk prevention and control management in all areas, skillfully handle various complex issues, and overcome all difficulties and obstacles that we meet on our way, and keep a firm hold on the initiative of our work. Comrades, a great cause calls for a leadership of a strong party. As long as our party keeps itself competent and strong, always remain true to the people's aspiration and work in concert with the people, we can and will navigate the great ship bearing the great dream of the Chinese dream to conquer the waves and reach our destination. Comrades, the Chinese nation is a great nation, has been through hardships and adversity, but remain indomitable. The Chinese people are great people. They are industrious and brave. And they never pause in the pursuit of progress. The Communist Party of China is a great party. It has courage to fight and the mettle to win. The wheels of history roll on. The tides of the times are vast and mighty. History looks kindly on those who work with resolve, with drive and ambition, and with plenty of guts. It won't wait for the hesitant, the apathetic, and those shy of challenges. All of us in the party must work hard and live simply, guard against arrogance and impetuosity, and lose no time in progressing along the long march of the new era. We must conscientiously safeguard the solidarity and unity of the party, maintain the party's deep bond with the people, and strengthen the great unity of the Chinese people of all ethnic groups and the great unity of all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nations at home and abroad. We must unite all the forces that can be united and work as one to progress towards the brilliant future of national rejuvenation. A nation will prosper only when its young people thrive. A country will be full of hope and have a great tomorrow only when its younger generation have ideals, abilities, and a strong sense of responsibility. The Chinese dream is a dream about history, the present, and the future. It is a dream of our generation, but even more so, a dream of the younger generations. The Chinese dream of national rejuvenation will be realized ultimately through the endeavors of young people, generation by generation. All of us in the party should care about the young people and set stage for them to excel. To all our young people, you should have firm ideals and convictions, aim high, and have your feet firmly on the ground. You should ride the waves of your day, and in the course of realizing the Chinese dream, fulfill your youthful dreams, and write a vivid chapter in your tireless endeavor to serve the interests of the people. A just cause should be pursued for the common good. Rooted in a land of more than 9.6 million square kilometers, nourished by a nation's culture more than 5,000 years, and backed by the invincible force of more than 1.3 billion people, we have an infinite vast stage of our era, a historical heritage of unmatched depths, and an incomparable resolve that enable us to forge ahead on the road of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We, the entire party, and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups should rally closely around the party central committee and hold high the banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We should keep on working with great determination to accomplish the three historical tasks of advancing modernization, realizing China's reunification, and preserving world peace and promoting common development. We should secure a decisive victory in finishing the building a moderately prosperous society in all aspects, striving for the great success of socialism and Chinese characteristics for a new era, and realize the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation, and see that our people realize their aspiration for a better life.